Okay, World Cruisers, it's Thursday, August 8th, 2024. We're on the Ultimate World Cruise and we're in Ronne, Denmark, which Ronne is a city on the island of Bornholm, which is off the coast of Denmark. And this place had some strategic value during World War II. The Germans occupied it. And there's some really interesting stuff at the Defense Museum that we'll show you towards the end here. But this is the church. This is a St. Nicholas Church. You can tell it's a sailor's church because that ship hanging there. And it's a very simple church. It was originally Catholic, but during the Reformation went to Lutheran, I guess, or something. But there's the altarpiece. It's a ship on a stormy sea. And there's not even a picture of Christ up there. So I thought it was a little bit strange. But anyway, so we're just walking down the street now, looking at some of the houses. We're headed towards a factory that has been making ceramics since before the American Civil War, since about 1850 something. And we're going to take a tour of the ceramic factory, and you'll be an expert at making pottery by the time we're done with this. It's a very sleepy town. I think there were probably 2 cruise ships in town today, but hardly any traffic. Almost nobody on the streets until you get to the main square, the central square. But just to give you an idea of some of the architecture in the city. And we're coming up here on this beautiful old house. I think it's the old sailor's home, but I'm not sure. It might have been a Salvation Army building, I don't know. But anyway, here we are at the ceramic factory that's been producing for so long, and they have some unique ceramic that's unique to Denmark and this region. So we're going to take a tour of the factory here real quick. So the first step is the room where the clay comes in as a powder, and that's a grinder there. So they reuse if they have some.
That gets mixed in with
they have some clay that didn't work and they have to grind it up again. They mix part of the reused stuff with the new.
Okay.
And they put it in that grinder.
And you grind it in this thing?
Yeah. That grinder was originally for crushing olives. They use it for grinding clay.
Okay.
And how old is that machine? I mean, it's
100, over 100 years old.
We're still using it.
So it's just hand cranked?
Yeah, I actually see this is similar to the one for making olive oil.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's actually made for clay.
That's a ball mill there that they used when they put the clay in that ball mill. It comes in powder form and it crushes it, make sure it's totally crushed into powder, and then they mix it. There's a big mixing vat in this room right there where they mix the clay with water, and then they put it in that press that you're going to see in a minute, and they press like 70% of the water out of it until it gets to the right consistency that they use for throwing it on the wheels. There's the press. So the clay goes in those pouches, and then they squeeze the whole thing until most of the water comes out. We got to talk to some of the apprentices that were making pottery, so just you could listen.
And what are you making?
I'm making bowls.
So like the ones that are on the shelf above you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my first day making this shape. So
Ah,
I'm just learning. So these 2 are the demonstration ones.
Okay.
They'll end up being something like this.
okay.
And then this is the one that I have made, which is not quite right. But
It looks
But,
quite...
I mean, I tried this one day. I took a lesson.
okay.
That's remarkable for your first day. You should be proud of that.
First day on the ship.
Wow. Well, That's really good.
So how many of those will you make in a day?
Well,
Not that you know because you haven't done it
yeah,
yet.
exactly. I suppose, well, before I was making a cup.
Okay.
So I spent the last few weeks making that.
Okay.
And yesterday, maybe I made about 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
attaching the handles right now to my jugs. And yeah, it needs to be, of course, in the right place, otherwise it will look silly.
And you use slip to put that together? Or what do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
This is
Just put it on with
Okay.
it's clay with more water in it than what you normally work, huh?
Yeah.
And how long have these been drying before you put the handles on?
I made these last week,
Okay.
so they have been drying for quite some
About a
time.
week.
But I've also trimmed them because the bottom is already finished. I can't finish the bottom when I put on the handle because then it'd be in the way.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
finished
it's
the
been-
bottom and give them the stamps of Denmark and Elios, which is Laura's Hjort, the founder,
Okay.
and BM, which is Bornholms Museum. So
Beautiful. So they dry for about a week before you put the handles on. Then how long do you have to fire them, right?
yeah, but first they need to dry again because when I've attached the handle, it needs to dry very slowly so the handle doesn't pop off.
Yeah.
Because the two clays are merging, and yeah, that just takes a while.
Okay. So you've obviously made the handles separate.
And you are making these pots.
I'm making these that are teacups.
Are they pots or going to be mugs? What are they going to be? Mugs.
Yeah, mugs. Mugs.
Are you also an apprentice?
I'm also an apprentice, yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Chile.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And what brought you here? Just the ceramics or?
Yeah, the ceramics. I wanted to take kind of some time off work and get better at throwing and some skills. Like I already did pottery back at home, but I wanted to kind of,
Is this what you do at home, is pottery, or do you have a different job that you do at home?
Yeah, so I'm a designer.
Okay.
So I work in an office.
Oh, okay.
And then I also have my ceramic studio.
Okay.
So I do that as a
So
side job, hobby.
Yeah.
so
You
what
want it
does
to be more?
I want it to be more.
Okay.
Yes.
Hence coming here. So you're here for just the summer or?
I'm also coming from
Okay.
summer. Yeah, so until
Okay.
September.
Okay.
so what does that stuff do to your hands when you're in clay all day? Does it make them dry?
Yeah, they make it really dry.
You have to
Yeah.
put stuff on them
Lots
to
of
keep
hand-
them.
Yeah, just like hand creams, and also your nails get a bit
Brittle? Or?
yeah, because they're in water a lot.
Yes.
So once the pottery is thrown on those wheels, they have a section here that makes more precise pieces. It's got like a lathe with they can actually turn it to get precise measurements instead of doing it by hand like the apprentices were doing. And then once that's done, after it dries, they apply to slip the coloring. This is where they mix the slip. It's not the slip, it's the glazing. They mix it and apply it with brushes. And this is the room where they store all the different colors of glazing in those buckets. So, once the glazing's on there, then it comes into the firing room here. They have several furnaces. You can see there's a furnace load in that one that the doors open on. And there's a furnace load cooking in the red kiln over there.
Something's cooking.
So that's it. That's basically the process. I guess the real art
Some of their better work.
is in how long you fire it and what temperature and how long you dry it before you stick it in the oven. So anyway, here's some finished works. They compete in various pottery competitions, and these are all award-winning pieces from various competitions that they've been in. Pretty beautiful stuff. And there's a kind of
That guy's still alive.
clay and glazing that's unique to this island and this shop. And we were able to buy a piece of it made with the unique color and clay from here for display at home. Anyway, so when we're done with the clay factory, we're looking for something to eat. We decided to go to the city center. This is the main commercial center. Basically, it's a big open square where people come and set their tents up and sell. So we found some fish and chips down there and some bratwurst and sauerkraut. It was quite good. And then our next objective was to go to the Defense Museum. So this is walking down the road that is adjacent to the harbor there. You can see Serenade of the Seas is out there in the distance on the left. It's like they're doing some work on the harbor, making it a little bit wider and working on the breakwater out there. But this Defense Museum was recommended to us because they have an Enigma, a real Enigma machine that was found when the Germans came and they were occupying the island because it has strategic value off the coast of Denmark. So late in the war, like in May of '45, they sent 1,000 soldiers here to try and defend the island from being taken back. And the soldier that had that Enigma machine threw it in a ditch. It's a really interesting story. So breaking the code on the Enigma machine was one of the things that helped bring the war to an end quickly because they could understand all the German communications, and the Germans didn't know that the code had been broken. But this thing was thrown in a ditch by one of the soldiers who was defending the city as they were getting routed out. And somebody found it and thought it was a typewriter. But when they discovered it wasn't a typewriter, they stored it in their attic. And until 1985, somebody who knew was going through the attic looking at some of the old stuff, and they found that it was a authentic Enigma machine. It's a serial number 7340, manufactured in 1937. So interesting that that is a real piece of World War II history that was responsible for bringing the war to an end more quickly than it would have otherwise. So that's it for our visit to Ronne, Denmark. Tomorrow we'll be in Kiel, Germany, so stay tuned for another video from Germany, and we'll have some more adventures there.